Hi, it's Jan Beta, and as you can see, I'm back with another Commodore Amiga video. This is my Amiga 1200 that I wanted to do another video on for a while. I retrobrighted the Commodore 128 in the last video that I repaired previously, and I thought I'd give you an update on what I found out about the retrobrighting process. So this I retrobrighted approximately a year ago. It was a bit longer than a year ago, I think. And this one was very, 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 very yellow. It looked like a cheese kind of color. It was really, really bad. This is after a year and a bit. And it definitely started yellowing again for a bit. I tried to put the color correction thing into realistic colors. They are a bit off. It's really, really difficult to catch this on camera. It started yellowing again. They all do. You probably know that the retrobrighting process, it doesn't stop the process of yellowing, because the yellowing comes from the bromide that is added to the ABS, I believe, plastic, to act as a flame retardant kind of thing. So this definitely yellowed a bit again, especially the keys. Let's take a closer look. So you can see here on the keys that these are yellow, the other stuff is yellow too. The case is not so bad actually. I have some slight marbling that I had when I did this initially, that's now more visible. If you look closely, you can see on these keys here, F2 and F3, there's a slight marbling effect there, as it's called, meaning that some areas are brighter than others. So this is especially visible on darker areas if you retrobright them. So here, that's a nice example of this stuff. I used cream peroxide and covered the keys in it and scrubbed it around with a brush, and it apparently wasn't spread evenly enough to prevent this marbling effect, I think. So with the Commodore 128 that I recently did, I used liquid peroxide for the keys, and I used this for the case because it worked really well on this. What you have to do is to come in every half an hour, have some sun sitting on this, or an artificial light like I did in the Commodore 128 video, and spread the cream around so there's no area where it sits for longer and works for longer, so you don't get marbling effects and stuff like that. So this is still much better than it initially was, but it turned yellow again. So you have to repeat the process, which is apparently, people say it's not a problem to repeat it because the plastic is not harmed by the peroxide. That's the specialty of peroxide. Plastics are brittle because they are old and they're getting some heat from the machines and stuff like that. So on old computers, mostly the plastics are brittle. The UV light doesn't help, it makes plastics brittle. So you still have to make a decision here if it's worth taking this all apart again and doing the process all over again and risking breaking stuff up. And so much for the update on the Amiga 1200 on the retrobrighting front. Still don't regret doing it, because this was really bad and was yellow to a point where it didn't look nice. So now it's all good. I'd say it doesn't look too bad. But there's one caveat. I never actually mentioned this, but there is a crack here, because stupid Jan let some, I don't even remember what it was, a heavy object fell on this and cracked the grill here. Which is, of course, it's not a big deal really, but it's kind of annoying. Then a couple of months later, there was this Kickstarter campaign. Don't know if you saw that. It was kind of like 1 year ago, I think, just when I did the retrobrighting on this. A1200net is the website. I'm gonna link that below. They did basically made new cases for the Amiga 1200, and now there is a Kickstarter for Amiga 500 cases, I believe, and they are also doing new keycaps. So back then I didn't have any money at all, so I couldn't afford it. It's pretty expensive, but if you take into account that it's a very low volume production, and they all did it from scratch with a couple of people that spend a lot of time getting this right, and they are doing extra colors, and they seem to have done a really good job. So now recently these cases became available for sale. They were available to the Kickstarter supporters at first, and then they recently made them available to the public, so to say. And now, thanks to my patrons, I have a bit of money for spending on stuff like this and checking out stuff that might be interesting for other people that are watching this. So I got one of those cases recently, and yeah, the plan is to get rid of this case and put this one into the other case, the new case. So let's have a look at the case. Is that the case? Oh, sorry. So here we are. This is the little box it comes in, which is very nice. I love having specially printed boxes. Makes it a whole nice experience. So on inside we have a bit of stuff I ordered. Ordered this from Amiga Kit, and I also got one of their cables because I don't have a SCART cable for my Amigas. Now I have. Put that away because the main attraction, of course, is this. I know there's probably going to be a discussion about my color choice, but I'm a huge fan of the Apple initial iMac design and stuff. There was a translucent plastic. I don't know, for some reason it really appeals to me. And yeah, my favorite color of the Amiga cases is clear. And I really want, if they make the keycaps available, I really want the keycaps that are dark translucent. I think that would be so cool. It would basically look like the iMac keyboards, I'm afraid. So I really like that look, and I really want that to be my Amiga 1200. So this is it. Let's have a closer look at this. There are different colors. There's everything from light pink to the original white color to black to you name it. There's a lot of colors, so I suppose you check out their website. And they also linked in, I believe, the sellers where you can get this at the moment. This is a limited run, of course. I don't know how long the supplies will last. So if you want one of these, I suggest you get one soon. Okay, so I can already see the threaded inserts there, which is pretty nice. There's a lot of adapter stuff in here to make it compatible with some standoffs, another door here. So the screws are in there lightly, I suppose. Okay, so this is an A1200 case produced by Aeon Technology Limited. Trademark use and license. Made in China. They had these made in China because it would be pretty much unaffordable to have these be produced in somewhere else. So I'm removing the screws to have a look, I suppose. And it feels so much nicer with these threaded inserts to undo the screws. That's cool. There are longer screws in the back. This is nicely done. So there we go. This should be it, I think. Yes. So there it is. And you look at the inserts. These are proper inserts. It's not like there's one little millimeter insert. It's like at least 1.5 centimeters. This is good stuff. Plastic feels, it is a bit wobbly. I think it feels better than the original. This supposedly is pretty good plastic. So now for showing this is pretty, it's not so good to have the translucent one. They had this signed by some of the original developers of the Amiga system. So there's Dave Needle, Dale Luck. I can't really read this. So they had this is RJ Michael. They had these signed by some of the original developers of the system, just like the old Apple Macintoshes are. Which is a pretty nice idea, I think. The little trapdoor cover has air vents in it for cooling the accelerator cards that are sitting here in the 81200s classically. So there's a number of covers for this slot here. Yeah, this looks pretty nice. The standoffs are proper rubber standoffs and have a little grip to them as well. So this is pretty nice quality. So suppose you're all waiting for me to put the Amiga in there. I have to take it apart first. So let's do that. So this is the original color, which is a bit brighter on the top side. It was back to this color, so now it's it's yellowed quite a bit again. And I'm not going to throw this case out. I'm going to hold on to it. The LED assembly here. This is the original color. This is the color now, so it's back to yellowing a bit. Oh, and there's my hilarious recapping job. I might actually go back and do some more work on that, but to remove the keyboard you have to pull up the upper part of this clamp here. Then you can carefully get out the keyboard connector, which is one of those flat flex cables. And as you can see, I have quite some bonus stuff in there. There's a compact flash adapter. You just need an IDE to compact flash, so you can just put that where the hard disk is. This is an IndyVision AGA. It's like a graphics card, so you get HDMI output. You actually get DVI output, but you can put it through a adapter, because DVI and HDMI are basically the same connections but without the sound. You have a HDMI output on this thing through this card, which is the best solution really to get the picture from an Amiga to a huge monitor. This is an accelerator card. It's a Blizzard 1230 Mark IV, I believe. This works an absolute treat. So I have to get some of the screws from the bottom out, I think, to get this whole thing out. So there we are. This is an A1200 board. Doesn't look too bad, except for the messy soldering on the I replaced all the electrolytics that had leaked, and I replaced them with ceramic capacitors. I think the surface mount soldering is not that bad of a job. The through-hole stuff, I chose to use bigger capacitors than I would have needed. Might actually, while I'm not using the cover, I might actually put them to the board there. I'm not using the RF shield anymore because of the add-on cards, like the IndyVision AGA. And it's, basically the frequency this emits is not very harmful to any modern electronics. So I tend to leave the RF shielding out. Alright, so let's see how this fits into the new case. Seems to fit. Surprise. There's this one edge here that has the little clamp, so it's screwed in from the back side with a threaded screw, actually. Oh, and I should connect the IndyVision before that. I got this little bracket, the white thing, a while back to connect the DVI connector to the case, but I believe one of these here fits yeah, so I can just place it in there, I guess. This is going to look so nice. Okay, so this is going to fit nicely, I guess. Oh, how am I supposed to... Oh. Right, so I can't really use these screws to fix it there. That's a bummer. It's probably made for another plug. I might just use this for now. And then I work something out for the other part, I guess. Okay, I encountered my first problem with this case. So there's a screw hole here, and on the original case you can screw it through here to hold this bracket, the white bracket thing, for the DVI port in place. And on this one, it doesn't line up. So I have to use the cover they provide. So this turned out to not be that trivial. I just added some screws for now that hold this in place. They barely... the cutout is pretty large, so you probably have to use another version of this plug that screws through the back here, I guess. I think there are other versions of these. I had to do this because these are too small to hold it in there. So I think I'll just add this to the case, and my plug coming from my monitor fits this too, so that's good. I can't really screw it on there anymore, of course. These have security screws here normally, the plugs, but it'll do. It should fit in here, which it does, okay. Oh, one of these little thingos is for the drive, but I think I have another version. So I'm probably stuck with the... No, it won't fit. It's just another... It's totally different construction. It isn't even the same size exactly, so I'm stuck with this. But that's not too bad. Okay, here's another slight problem. This button here, my original button from the drive, doesn't fit. Might have gotten the drive in wrong. Let's investigate. So I have the drive pretty loosely in there, and it's still not a perfect fit there. Doesn't work too well. Man, okay, let's work something out, I guess. Okay, I think I got it working. Yeah, this works better than before, definitely. So I just fixed the two screws here and left out the screw here on this side that has this little bracket on it. So that's just holding on the bracket there, and now if you close the case, you can still put the disc in and out. Wow, so that needed quite some fiddling actually. Don't know if it is because I have the older revision of the Amiga mainboard and the older revision of the drive. The later revisions were basically modified PC drives that were really HD drives, I believe, and this is one of the original Amiga double density DD drives. So, so now it is in, so everything's hunky-dory. Let's put it back together. Okay, this doesn't look too bad actually, but I really want the dark translucent keys sometime. Let's put the screws back in and see if this thing still boots. One of the little feet fell off while I was working this around, so I'm just going to leave that back. Ta-da! Ha! I nearly forgot to put the accelerator card back in. There we go. Okay, this sits in here a bit tighter than on the old in the old case, so that's probably a big plus for this case. And the other big plus is obviously this is really cut out a bit more, and it has these cooling vents there, so you can so the processor that's on here gets some extra cooling, which isn't a bad thing because this thing runs pretty warm because it's a 50 megahertz 68030. Okay, let's take it for a spin, I'd say. Let's see if it still works. Oh, and obviously I'll do back on this thing here. Sorry about the messy retro computing corner at the moment. It's all in the process of being renovated, and still I'm fiddling around with how to place stuff and have a nice corner to film in. Let's see if it still works. Ah, there we go. Okay, there we are. It still works. Nice. I don't have the sound connected. Normally it's running through the stereo there, but I have no speakers connected, so I can't really show you the sound at the moment. But anyway, this thing seems to work pretty nicely still. And this is what it looks like. Pretty nice if you're doing this. And I really wish I had the dark keys. Or black keys would look awesome as well, but for now I'm going to stick with this. And it's not too bad. So yeah, that's it for now. My Amiga 1200 still seems to work fine. I'm just gonna test it for some more. And place the Wing Commander maybe. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you liked this. Hope there was some informative stuff in here. If you like this, consider subscribing to my channel. You can click on my little logo here. If you really like this, consider supporting me on Patreon. I'm gonna link that in the corner here, which is very much appreciated. It makes stuff like this possible, which I wouldn't be able to afford otherwise. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope to see you again on this channel pretty soon. There's amazing stuff lined up, just waiting to be finished and released, and there's so little time. So see you soon. Thank you. I'm Jan Beta. See you next time. Bye.